I'm going to show you how to create your very first Google Ads lead search campaign. I'm going to show you how to set up your ad group properly so that you're only targeting high intent keywords and your ads are only being served to people who actually need your services.
Mr. Todd with Harbor Roofing. No, we do not replace convertible roofs. No, I don't even know where to get the materials for that. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I am logged into my Google Ads account, and I'm going to assume that you already have a Google Ads account. If you do have a Google Ads account pulled up and you are in smart mode, I want you to go to settings and make sure that you are in expert mode. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is you can click this plus create icon here, or you can hit the create campaign here. So let's just go ahead and go create campaign. And now I'm going to set up a new campaign. So you're going to click on new campaign. Okay, so now we're going to choose our objective. In this case, our objective is leads, but you may have many different objectives when setting up a Google Ads campaign. For example, you might want to sell items on your website. And in that case, you would pick sales if you are in retail, leads if you're in the service industry. If you're trying to just drive traffic to your website, you could pick like website traffic, and then you can see all the other different campaign objectives that you could go through. But we are going to pick leads. So click on leads. And now these are going to be all of your different conversion goals. So for a lead, we're going to want phone calls, or we're going to want people to fill out our free estimate form. I am going to remove engagements. I don't want to record that as a conversion. Okay, so we have contacts, phone call, leads, and then signups. So those are going to be our conversions. Continue. All right. So we want to create a search campaign. Our very first, most conservative campaign is the old school OG of Google Ads, which used to be Adwords, and that's going to be a search campaign. So starting out, you just want to focus on search campaigns. Later on, you're going to be able to learn about Performance Max, display, shopping, discovery, and then video. All right, so click on search for your campaign type. How do we want to reach our goals? We want phone calls. So you're going to enter in your phone number. I'm just going to say phone calls, and we want lead form submissions. Now here, we do get phone calls and lead form submissions through our website, but we don't want this to record a website visit as a goal, as a conversion. It's going to distort our conversions. So we're just going to leave that unchecked. And then I can just name this Tampa Bay search campaign. All right. So search campaign means that those ads are only going to show up if somebody is searching for the keywords that you want your ad to appear for. Click continue. There's different types of bidding strategies. I don't want to get into detail like on every bidding strategy in Google Ads. You can just focus on how we're setting up this initial campaign, and then in later videos, you can start getting into more depth in all the different campaigns, campaign types, the objectives, the goals, all the different bidding strategies or keyword match types. So right now we are going to target, even though we're targeting conversions, we want to have more control over this campaign because in this case, we don't have a lot of money to spend and we're new. Our account doesn't have a lot of history. So we just want to pay for clicks, and we only want to pay for clicks for somebody who's searching for a keyword that's high intent for our industry. And we do want to set a maximum cost per click. Again, what we're focusing on, we want to have control over how our budget is spent. Okay, so let's use Tammy. Her absolute most that she's willing to pay is $37.50. We're going to say the max cost per click. This means the absolute most that we are willing to pay per click is $37.50. That doesn't mean that we are always going to pay $37.50. That is just the max. It's probably going to come in more of an average around $18 or $19 on average. Just ignore most of the Google recommendations. I can promise you they're going to drain your budget starting out. You want to have control. That's the key purpose of this video, is to show you how to set up your first campaign, and you need to have control over how your money is spent. And click next. All right, so here you have the different networks. Again, Google is wanting you to spend the most amount of money possible. I'm not saying that they don't want you to get leads, but they are wanting you to spend more and more money. That's just the nature of business. You're going to uncheck display network. Okay, so that you only want your ads to appear on the search networks for your keyword. If you were to have checked display network, what's going to happen is maybe there's one day you don't get enough searches. There's just not enough people in your market that are doing searches. For example, we're going to target roofing companies near me. That day, maybe there's only a few searches for roofing companies near me, maybe only 3 searches in your area. If that's the case, and maybe you only get 1 or 2 clicks, then your budget is not going to be completely used up. So then Google is going to take the remainder of the budget and start throwing your text ad, and they're going to start placing it on apps, websites, YouTube channels, and you're better off just creating a display campaign because you're going to create display ads that perform better. So this is just a way for Google to exhaust the remainder of your daily budget, and you might get results, but there's better ways to get better results by creating a separate display campaign. So just don't check this box. It's really just going to drain your account, and it's going to spend your money less efficiently than if you were just focusing that budget on your search network. Again, ignore this recommendation right here. Okay, so your location, depending on where you're targeting, for us, we're in the service industry. Usually people in home services are targeting like a specific county or even just a city. So for us, we are going to enter another location, and we're going to specify our location. So I'm going to type in Tampa, and then we want our ads to show up in the Tampa Bay area. So we service the entire Tampa Bay area, so we're going to target the entire Tampa Bay area. And that means that our ads should only show up for people who are in the Tampa Bay area. Click down here on location options, and you can see here it's a little bit tricky. By default, presence or interest, people in, regularly in, or who've shown interest in your targeted locations. Recommended. I just don't recommend using the Google Ads recommended settings, because what's going to happen here is if somebody types in Tampa Bay, now all of a sudden that's somebody who's been searching for Tampa Bay. Maybe they're going to be going on a vacation, but they own a home in Minnesota. But hey, they've been showing interest in Tampa Bay. So then maybe their next search, they're looking for a roofer in Minnesota, and they're typing roofing companies near me. All of a sudden your ad may pop up for them because they have showed interest, even though they are not in your service area. It's going to be a junk lead. It's going to be a wasted click. You're going to be paying for somebody who's not in your service area to click on your ad because your ad was served when somebody out of your service area did a search for your keywords. So you're going to want to check presence, people in or regularly in your targeted location. Okay, so we are already targeting people in a certain service area, and we are only targeting people in or regularly in our targeted location, so we don't really have to deal with exclusions. Okay, the language, we are going to target English. All right, so these audience segments are better used or targeted when you're creating a display campaign. We're going to skip audience segment for the search campaign right now. We're going to keep this off. We don't want Google to do anything automatically for us. All right, now let's click on more settings. Ad rotation. We're going to create multiple ads. Do not optimize. Rotate ads indefinitely. So you're going to click on do not optimize, rotate ads indefinitely. And this way you can run your campaign maybe a month or 2 months or however long you feel is necessary to get a good sample size. And then you can go through, you can analyze your ads, and you can figure out which ads are performing the best, which ads have the highest click through, which ads have the highest conversion rate or the lowest cost per conversion. All right, let's click on more settings again. Your start date and your end date, I'm just going to leave it going indefinitely because I can always get in here and pause my ads. And then your ad schedule, I don't want people calling outside of business hours when I can't answer the phone, but this is really specific to your business. But I've found that Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. is best for our industry. I've found that that's best not just because the most traffic searches during that time for our services, but I've also found that we get a lower cost per conversion during those hours. When somebody's laying in bed, they may see your ad, they may show interest, they may click on it, but they're not going to make that phone call. So you paid for the click, but you didn't get the call. All right, let's click on more settings. Campaign URL options. We're not going to deal with this right now, but we can get into this later. But this isn't something that's necessary to set up. And even when you work with your Google Ads rep, they never really even go over this. So this is more unique depending on your situation and your website. All right, let's click on next. All right, so here we're going to start creating our ad group. We can click this pencil icon. We can name our ad group Roof Replacement. You know what? Let me actually add Tampa Bay to it. If I'm ever looking at a Excel spreadsheet or a table within Google Ads and I want to just look at all my different ad groups, this way I know that it's going to be Roof Replacement Tampa Bay, because if I have different ad groups and different campaigns, let's just say I keep naming all of my ad groups Roof Replacement within the campaign. Well, if I'm doing a search in a table for just ad groups, I'm going to have a bunch of ad groups named Roof Replacement. So at least adding a little bit of a description of the actual campaign will tell me what that ad group is for. All right, here it says get keyword suggestions optional. That's going to scan your website. We don't really need to scan our website. There are much better ways to find out which keywords we want to target. And a lot of them you're just going to know off the top of your head. And then here you could enter your product and service. We could type in roofing and it would start suggesting again keywords. But we are going to want to be as conservative as possible. So we're going to want to add the most high intent keywords or search terms that people are going to be searching for who are looking for your services. Okay. And so one thing I need to get into before we enter in our keywords, and there's different ways of doing this. I'm just going to try to save you some time. You have your broad match keywords, you have your phrase match keywords, and then you have your exact match keywords. All right, so for keywords, for example, if I were to just go into the word roofing, because I am in the roofing industry, but I leave it as it is, I don't put brackets or I don't nest it within quotation marks, then this is going to be a broad match keyword. This means that if somebody types in like roof repair for RV, or I've even had calls for Red Roof Inn, or how to repair a doghouse roof, or anything that has the word roof in it, your ad's going to be served. Roofing jobs near me, roofing companies that are hiring. You could waste a ton of money paying for clicks from people who are doing searches that have absolutely no business clicking on your ad. And you're going to be paying for that. So we do not want to be using broad match keywords starting out. Later on, you can use broad match keywords as you grow a good negative keyword list. Okay, so the next match type for keywords is phrase match. Phrase match keywords are going to be nested within quotation marks. So if I type in the word roofing companies, then the way Google has explained it is that my ad should only show up if somebody types in roofing and companies. And the word companies would need to follow the word roofing. So roofing would have to come before the word companies for my ad to show up. Now, this has been changing a little bit, and the phrase match keywords have been performing a little bit more like broad match keywords. But in theory, my ad should show up only if the word roofing is typed in before the word companies. So like what that means is if somebody typed in roofing companies near me, my ad would appear. Or roofing companies in my area, my ad would appear. Or best roofing companies in Tampa Bay, my ad would appear. So technically this should be pretty good, because if anybody's searching for roofing companies, more than likely they are in the market for our services. But another example of a search that your ad would appear for with a phrase match keyword such as this is roofing companies hiring. Our objective is to acquire leads. So we don't want to target people who are looking for jobs. And in this case, they could. So you would have to have a negative keyword list that would make sure your ad doesn't appear for the words like hiring, jobs, work. Those are just a few examples. All right, so the match type that we are going to use is going to be exact match. And we're going to put exact match keywords in brackets. So we'll open our brackets. We're going to type in roofing companies. And then we close our brackets. This means our ad will only show up if somebody types in roofing companies or roofing company. If they type in roofing company near me, our ad is not going to show up. Our keyword is an exact match keyword. So we only show up if someone does a search for the keywords exactly as we entered it in here. Since we are doing exact match, there's going to be a lot of high intent keywords that we could potentially miss out on. So we're really going to have to go and do some research on all the most popular keywords, and then we can enter them in using exact match. That is the downside of using exact match, is you are missing out on keyword searches that could potentially drive good traffic to your lead form and convert into a job. An example of this might be somebody who is halfway down the funnel and they're just kind of exploring pricing. They may be doing a search for shingle roof replacement prices in Tampa Bay. And using exact match keywords, you're really just not going to show up for that search. You can't even enter in that search within brackets. Google will not serve it. They're going to say there's not enough search traffic. But our goal is to just target those high intent searches. So with this campaign being conservative, having a small budget, we're just starting out, we don't have a lot of history. We're looking for those people who are just further down the funnel and they're looking to get their roof replaced right now. So another keyword we could enter is roofing company near me. Roofers near me. Roofing Tampa. So I'm not going to show you every single keyword. This is going to be something that you're going to have to just sit there and brainstorm and just think about, what is a search term that somebody would type into Google if they're looking to get an estimate from my company? And you can just enter those in as you go. You can create your campaigns and then you can do your research. You can go and add those keyword searches in later as well. You can start out with just a few, see how that goes. And then if you're not getting enough traffic, you can start expanding your keywords. All right, so now we're going to get in here. We're going to create our ad. So we are creating our ad. The very first thing we need to enter in is our website. If you don't have a website, I would just recommend getting one before you start trying to acquire leads, because you're just wasting a lot of time. All right, so we're going to add our phone number. And this way, someone can see our ad, they can just click on it and they'll call us directly. I already have a phone number entered in, but if you want to enter one, you can go here, click on new call, and the number that you want them to call, just click on save. And now it's added. Go down here, click apply. Okay, so you have your website and you have the phone number that you want them to call. All right, so now you're going to create your headlines. Somebody is going to do a search for roofing companies near me or plumbers near me or whatever it is that you want your ad to appear for. And now you need to grab their attention with a well thought out written headline. Roofing Tampa Bay since 1976. I've noticed that you could type in like certain credentials or designations that you have. For example, we have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. So I might type in BBB A+ rated roofer, family owned roofing company. Just being familiar with my industry, I know the types of questions that people who are searching for my service ask for. So a lot of times I'm going to put the answer to their questions in my headline. For example, they ask, how far out are you on roof installs? I'm going to put 1 week lead time for re-roofs. And I think it's best to enter in as many headlines as possible. So Google is going to deliver your ad with the headlines that match their search the best. If we were targeting the keyword GAF Master Elite Roofing Contractor, and then somebody did a search for GAF Master Elite Roofing Contractor, they would more than likely serve our ad with this headline. So they're going to serve a few headlines, 1, 2, or 3 headlines at a time. And there's going to be different combinations of how they serve your ad. So not all of these headlines are going to be served every single time your ad is delivered. All right, so we've maxed out the number of headlines that we can enter. We always want to do that. We want to enter in as many well thought out headlines as possible. And again, you can always come in and change your headlines. If you think of something that you think is going to be better, you can always add that in. All right, so then we're going to move on to our descriptions. We also want to enter in as many descriptions as possible. And the reason why is we want to have as many different headlines or descriptions as possible that are being served and being rotated, So then we can start eliminating the descriptions or the headlines that are not working well, and we can replace them with something else. And we just continue to test them and analyze them and make them better and better and better. We find out what headlines are working, we find out what descriptions are working, and then we always are improving those. So we're going to enter in, for me, I like to just enter in like almost like bullet points, just key details about our company. I like to put in family owned, and I know that I have family owned up in the headline, but that headline's not always going to be served. So this is just another way to get a lot of our sales points across to the customer. Family owned and operated, 47 years of experience in business since 2004. Okay, so I've got our 4 descriptions. And again, these descriptions are going to be unique to your business, but you just need to make sure your headlines and your descriptions of your ad are well thought out, and they're going to get clicks, but they're also going to answer questions. All right, so here we have images. I'm going to click on add images, and then you're going to click on new images again. So I already have some pictures saved into my account. I'm going to select this picture for now, but no, you can add up to 20 different images, and your pictures, you can have different ratios. You're going to have your square image that might show up on certain platforms or certain placements. You could have like more of a wide angle ratio. For example, this right here. Now I can also turn this into a 1x1 image, and I can just kind of move it around and crop what I think is the best part of the picture, and that will be for the 1x1 ratio. And then I just select my 2 ratios, and I can continue adding pictures and uploading them. That looks distorted. That's not going to be how it comes out. It's going to be the area that we cropped. And then you're going to click save. Scroll down here. These advanced options, we're going to ignore those for now. Just click save and then apply. So now we can add site links. These are going to be different links from our website. For example, if somebody's doing a search for roofing, but they also need financing, your ad pops up and they say roofing company, Tampa Bay. They see that in the headline, but then you have a site link and it's going to say financing. They might click on the financing and then apply for financing on your website, and there you've acquired a lead through your finance application. So you'll click on site links. You're going to click on new site link, and then you could type in roof financing, and then like in a description, it could be like get approved in 60 seconds. You can maybe describe something about the rates, low rates or low payments, and then you're going to enter in the URL for the actual page on your website that you want them to go to. I'm going to click on my roof financing link, and then I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to take it over to my search campaign. And that's going to be our first site link. Another site link could be like, why choose us? With a question mark. And you can continue entering in more and more site links. Now, what's good about these site links is sometimes your ad will be served with all of them, and it takes up more space within the search results, which that usually converts into a higher click-through. So I'm going to just save those 2 for now, but just know that you can continue entering in more and more site links. And you can always go and edit your ad and add more. And then you want to go click apply. So now we have our site links. All right, so a call out is like a unique aspect about your business. For example, like 1 week lead time or 24/7 service. So for us, it's going to be like 1 week lead time for roof replacements. I'm going to click on call out, and then I'm going to click on new call out. I'm going to type in 1 week lead for re-roofs, fast and free roof estimate. You can add more call outs, but I'm just going to start with 4. And then again, these advanced options, that's the asset scheduling. So you could actually schedule your asset to run at a different time than your ads run, but we're not going to do that right now. We just want our assets to always run as our ads run. Click save. So now that's saving your call outs. Click apply. All right. So now we have our call outs. Let's click on more assets. All right, so here you have promotions. We're going to click on promotions. And now you have your occasion. This could be like different holidays, Independence Day, Labor Day, back to school, for example. So this is an example where you might actually want to, if you were going to pick like a holiday discount or a holiday sale, you might want to run an ad schedule for something like that because you don't want like a Memorial Day sale to run all year long. You just want to run it like maybe on Memorial Day weekend. So that's an example where an asset will have a different schedule than the actual ad itself. In this case, we're going to do like a first responders discount. So I'm just going to select none here for occasion. Our language is English, US dollar. We're in the United States. We're going to do a monetary discount of $500. And the item that we're going to do, our item is first responders. I don't have a specific URL because we're going to give bids. But if you had a website where maybe they needed to enter in a code or do something, then you could take them to a specific URL that would then apply that discount. But for us, we're just going to enter in our main website. Here in promotion details, you could enter in like a promo code or something if you have that. We don't have that. We're just going to give them the discount when they notify us of their status, when we give them the estimate. And then again, here is your schedule, and that's going to be for something like Memorial Day weekend or Black Friday. You're going to want to run this promotion on a schedule. URL options, again, this is something that we are going to skip. And then these advanced options of scheduling, this is asset scheduling, but we already have that taken into effect here if we wanted to do it. You could do it on both just to be double safe. Click save. Now you have your promotion. It's selected. It's over in this column showing that it's going to show. This is how it's going to appear on your ad over here. You're going to click apply. And now you have your promotions. We're not going to do prices because every roof is different, but if you're in retail, you may want to enter in different prices. All right, and then here you have structured snippets. You want to click on structured snippets. Structured snippets are just, you can add even more details about your business, like the type of services that you offer. So you want to click plus structured snippets. Then here your header, select the header type. So you can see here, this kind of tells you ideas of what you could enter in your structured snippets for. We're going to enter in a service catalog, and I might type in like roof replacements. Over here on the right, you can see it's going to show you where your structured snippets are going to appear. Roof repairs, roof inspections. I'm going to click save. And then click apply. All right, for lead forms, you do not want to use Google Ads lead forms. I've just had very bad results from them. I've gotten a lot of junk leads. I wasn't able to customize them the way that I want. You want your potential customers to go to your landing page on your website, not a Google Ads lead form. So just ignore the lead form for now. All right, locations. Now here, you're going to have to link your Google Business profile location. That needs to be linked to your Google Ads account. Your ad might actually appear in the map results, and that's because it's linked to your Google My Business or map location. Apps, we're going to skip apps. Most local services companies do not have apps. I'm sure in the future, a lot of them will, but right now we're going to skip apps. And add URL option, we're going to skip that. So we are just about done creating our first ad. You're going to click done, and then you're going to click next. And that means our ad is created. And now we're going to get over to our budget. All right, so your daily budget, basically you're going to want to figure out the number of leads you want per day and the amount of money that you are willing to pay per lead. So if I want 5 leads per day and I'm willing to pay about $100 per lead, then I'm going to make my budget $500. So my daily budget, my average daily budget will be $500. Now, this doesn't mean that Google is going to spend $500 every day. For example, there might be a day where you only spend $200 of your daily budget. There might be another day where you spend more than $500, but your average over a month is going to come out to $500. That's why it's your average daily budget. It's not like a max. Okay, you're going to click next. Okay, again, you're going to ignore any of these recommendations. You do not want to use Google recommendations. It's just going to cost you money. Click on Publish Campaign. So now your campaign is publishing. Pretty much your campaign is set up and you're just waiting for it to be approved by Google. Now this is a dashboard related to your campaign. I don't really use this dashboard too much. When I want to inspect my campaign or just do some research and look into it, the way that I do it, I go to all campaigns. I click on campaigns again. And then from this table, I can search for my different campaigns. And in this case, we have the Tampa Bay search campaign here. So I would click on here, and then you can see this is our ad group, the roof replacement ad group. So again, you can repeat what we just did, creating that first ad group by clicking the plus button, and you can add an ad group if you're in the ad group level, and then you could start adding maybe like roof repair or any specific service. But we already went through that, so you're just going to repeat what you did last time. All right, so your campaign's created. You have your ad group, your first ad group. You have one ad. You're going to want to get in there and create more ads. You can create up to 3 responsive ads. You want to have as many ads as possible with different headlines, different descriptions, different assets. And over time, you want to get in and just start seeing how they're performing. The same thing with your keywords. Clicked here in our ad group. We want to get even deeper into our ad group level. And then you can start seeing your keywords. Over here, you're going to start seeing how they're performing. You have your impressions, your click-through rate. You can see what keywords have a higher click-through. The cost, that's what each keyword is costing you. The number of clicks, your conversion rate, your conversion here, your average cost per click, and then your cost per conversion. Really, it's going to take at least a couple months to start getting enough data to be able to analyze what's working and what's not. Here you have your negative keywords. You can add negative keywords. So those are like words that you don't want to appear for. Now, in our case, we have exact match, so we shouldn't be appearing for anything other than exactly what we entered in as our keywords. But you could enter in negative keywords here. You could enter them at your ad group level or your campaign level. And you could enter in words like hiring, work, suppliers, because we're not a supplier. But that way, if somebody typed in like roofing companies hiring near me, your ad's not going to be served and you're not going to pay for a click of somebody calling you looking for a job, which I've done plenty of times. And then you would just save your negative keywords. And now if somebody does a search and those words appear in their search phrase, your ad's not going to be served. So once you start building a bigger negative keyword list, then you can start experimenting with phrase match or even broad match. But if you do not have a big keyword list, you need to stay away from the phrase match keywords. You need to stay away from the broad match keywords because you're going to waste a ton of money. I want you to get in here to recommendations and do not ever let Google auto apply anything for you. You need to have control over what you're doing. Don't ever just go in here and click apply on these recommendations because these recommendations are designed to exhaust your daily budget. You just need to go through them and dismiss them. And that way you want to get your score up here because I think that this campaign optimization score does have some sort of influence on how your ads are served. So you want to monitor this, but you really need to use a lot of discretion before you just go and apply these recommendations. Just go through, dismiss these for now, and eventually you can start learning more about them. But starting out, you just need to get familiar with the campaign the way that we have it set up. All right, so here we got our optimization score higher. Usually there's a little auto apply button that's up in here in this area. Let's go to overview. Let's go to all campaigns and then click on recommendations here. All right, you're going to see this auto apply button. I want you to go here and make sure that there's nothing checked off. If they are checked off, Google's going to start taking it upon themselves to make changes. You think you have your campaign set in a very conservative way, and Google is going to say, hey, here's some recommendations. We think that it's going to improve your click-through rate, or we think that it's going to improve your conversions, and we're just going to take it upon ourselves to make these changes for you. And usually what happens is you just start spending all of your money. All right, so here you're going to have this save time with auto apply. Do not select any of these. They're wanting you to select all of the boxes within that dialog box. Go here, ads and assets. Just make sure none of these are checked. Keyword targeting, just make sure none of these are checked because Google's going to start changing your bid strategy or adding keywords or even just creating new ads, dynamic ads, take it upon themselves to do a lot of stuff that's going to end up costing you a ton of money. I mean, I've had this happen to me and all of a sudden I was getting calls for bathroom remodeling and I'm a roofing company. I was getting calls for concrete repair and I'm a roofing company. So that's why I say if you don't know what you're doing, you can waste a ton of money. So just make sure none of these always get in here. I've seen some of these boxes magically checked off. So just always get in here and check these recommendations and make sure that Google is not doing anything on your behalf. Always get into your campaigns, get into your ad groups, inspect your ad groups, check your keywords, make sure that there's nothing in your keywords that you add, make sure there's nothing in your ads that you didn't do. It's just something you really need to keep an eye on. What you do need to do, if you are targeting lead form submissions, you need to set up conversion tracking. We can get into that video later. You're going to go up to tools and settings. You're going to see here measurements, and then you're going to click on conversions. And here's where you're going to set up your conversion tracking. Tracking your conversions, especially the conversions that are submitted through lead form, it's extremely important. But it's going to be something that you're going to need to set up with Google, especially if you have like a lead form submission that doesn't take you to like a thank you page. It just maybe pops up a little dialog box saying thank you for your submission, something like that. It's a little bit more complicated and you're going to have somebody walk you through that that's very specific to your website. But it is extremely important. If you are targeting conversions, you want to know your cost per conversion. And the only way that you're going to be able to know that is if you're tracking your conversions in Google Ads. So you need to set that up.
If you want to learn even more about Google Ads, click on this playlist here. Well, don't forget to subscribe and help Todd pay off his 1992 Ford Ranger.